One of the great applications of the tool is it's getting to know who you really are, because we don't know who we are anymore. We don't live with families. We've moved. We don't even know maybe our sexual identification or our gender or what kind of work I should be doing or not doing and where I live and just who am I these days. And I think there's a tremendous amount of anxiety in our world, particularly in America. There's a mental health crisis going on because a lot of it's an identity crisis. I don't really know who I am, and I'm lost, and I'm not feeling supported. And that's why a deck, I mean, particularly a Voyager deck, a modern deck that's not, you look at a lot of the tarot these days, Amy, and it's weird. I mean, I got to tell you, it's like fairies and angels. No, there's nothing wrong with fairies and angels, but that's really not our full whole lives, honestly. And so I've had to kind of remove myself pretty far from it because it's just too fringy. It's just too out there, and that's why we get the devil stuff and the weird and the woo woo and all that. And I just do not treat it that way. It is so mainstream because it identifies who all of us in a universal way, who we are as human beings. And the qualities that we have of mentally and emotionally and physically and spiritually and so on and so forth. So it's a great way of understanding ourselves. And a lot of times, like I say, we just don't know who I am. And the cool thing is that you might ask me, well, who am I? And I say, well, I think I am. Think. Aha. That's the word right there, because what you're talking about, what I totally agree with you, is we think, which is coming from a conditioned, socialized, bringing up who we think we're supposed to be. School taught us, parents taught us, blah, blah. But what you're talking about is intuition. And intuition is that inner voice, that little inner feeling, which is not a woo-woo thing. It's hardwired into the forebrain. Actually, it does exist there, but we never learn in school or anywhere how to trust our intuition or even what our intuition is, frankly. But once we get, and through the cards, it's a way of cultivating and really nurturing that inner voice and beginning to trust it, believe it, and follow it, then we're being authentic. You
Yes.
talk about authenticity as your podcast. Absolutely. Because once we are authentic, we can author our lives. Well, how can we create our lives when we don't even know who we are?
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, and so that's what this is, a tool for us to understand ourselves, who we truly are. And I love what you said about the books. Yeah, I've written all sorts of books. I got books up the yin yang here for each card. And they're good, but I give so many possibilities that ultimately it's back to you. So what definition or what symbol, and Voyager, as you know, is so rich symbolically. I mean, every card's got, umpteen dozen symbolic images exactly. But which one to pick? That's intuition. And so I pick this image because it speaks to me. But what does it say to you? That's the important thing. And I love the ABCs of intuition is A, be aware of the feeling, the intuition, which is what cards do for us. A, B, believe it, which a lot of us don't believe it because our thinking mind kicks in. And then C, have the courage to follow it. And to follow your intuition will take you in ways that other people think are silly or stupid or irreverent or devilish or whatever. And I had to do that when I have a PhD, right? Which is powerful head damage for those of you. It's when I lost all my hair.
Piled higher and deeper. Piled higher.
Yeah, right. But when I was a university professor in political science and all that stuff, and I was good, I think. And it was all right, but it wasn't me. I wasn't authentic. So I had to go on my vision quest. I had to get out of Dodge, which for me meant getting out of America And for me, it meant go to Africa and come back a year
Awesome.
later. Well, it was 4 years later, I finally came back to the US. But by the end of that phase of exploring myself, I understood I was not going to be a university professor anymore. I
Yeah.
was on the spiritual path
Yeah.
and the path of authenticity. And that led me into meditation and then eventually into the tarot. But when I had to come out of the occult closet or whatever and say, look, I'm a tarot reader, oh my God. My
Yeah.
parents went crazy, but they're cool. They always supported me. My high school friends, my college friends, because I was voted most likely to succeed and all that kind of stuff. They
Oh,
said,
wow.
"What the hell, man?
You
What
went
is
off the deep
going?
end. Yep. You went off the
You've
deep end.
lost it,
Mm-hmm.
James. You've really lost it. By the way, you've
Mm-hmm.
changed your name from Jimmy to James now.
Oh,
Stuff
that
like
that
that.
too.
And you used to be a baller. You were a football player, and now you're a meditator. What is going on here?" But and you know this, in order to really live a full life, a whole life, a meaningful life, a treasured life, a successful life, it's got to be your life.
Yes.
And boy, that
Amen.
does not come quickly and easily.
And it
At
doesn't, yeah,
all.
it doesn't come without a lot of heartache because a lot of people will be disappointed and
Oh,
you will lose people because they're not going to be happy.
oh,
And that
no.
hurts.
Oh,
Yeah.
it definitely hurts. And
Yeah.
so getting free to be ourselves
Yeah.
is like a death because you have to let go of people who don't understand you or don't approve of you. And that's, like you say, that's a heartache. But death is freedom. And I mean death in the sense of releasing
Transformation.
of
Transformation.
who you thought you were, your old definition, who you thought were your friends, who
Yeah.
you thought was your work, your job, your thing. You'd have to, it's transformational. In order to achieve the highest pinnacle of who you're meant to be in life, you got to go through that transformation. And you've got like the midlife crisis. Absolutely true.